Call this meeting to order. Could we have a roll call?
Councilmember Wu.
Here.
Han.
Here.
Blackwell.
Here.
Hopkins.
Here.
Chipman. Here. Von Bredhorst. Here.
All right. We'll start off with an invocation from Reverend Blake Coates, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Teresa Rasmussen.
And so tonight we thank you again for giving us the invitation to be here. And as our year approaches the end, thanks for those councillors who have served, who will take a well-deserved vacation. And let's keep in our hearts those whose terms will begin in the new year. And we especially welcome back our mayor. And also let's remember to, on this eve of Veterans Day, to celebrate the service of our veterans. And so before the invocation, I'd like to offer this prayer for those in the armed forces of our country. Almighty God, we commend to your gracious care and keeping all the men and women of our armed forces at home and abroad. Defend them day by day with your heavenly grace. Strengthen them in their trials and temptations. Give them courage to face the perils which beset them. And grant them a sense of your abiding presence wherever they may be. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen. O Lord, we raise our hearts in prayer to you this evening and give you thanks for the blessings of our common lives together in this place. We pray for our city of Weiser, surrounding communities. May they continue to be places where your people live in peace and joy. And so tonight, empower with the spirit of wisdom those to whom we entrust the authority of government, that there may be justice and peace at home, and that through obedience to your law we may show forth your praise among the nations of the earth. Amen.
Amen.
I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay.
You can come this way. You don't.
Do we have peace on the... are there any commission reports?
Yeah. Okay. Honestly, most of the ones that have met this month will be meeting or talking about later today. But very briefly, our design review committee has met. We have a new chair, Mike Zura, who happens to be here in the audience today. We're very grateful for him to step up into that responsibility. Tony Edmondson was elected as the vice chair. We are in the process of reviewing signed ordinances. So much like we did for the other ordinances that the design review committee has brought forward, we're comparing and looking at several communities in the area, those of similar size and so forth. And we're working on that as a committee as the next thing that we will send for recommendation of potential adoption. Of course, we are still open and looking for other professionals in the community that would like to serve on the committee that have something that they could offer. So if you know of people who have different expertise than those that are already on the team, we would love to talk to them. Well, Mr. Mayor would love to talk to them, wouldn't you, Mr. Mayor?
Yes, I would.
Since it's your recommendation anyway, so talk to him. Our P&Z committee also met, and actually I think you're probably supposed to talk about that, not me, I'm sorry. But we met, and we're going to talk about both of those things later today, so I'm not going to talk about those any further. And then public facilities also met regarding fried foods, and we're going to talk about that one as well. So I don't have to talk anymore because we're going to talk about it at great length without me being in charge. Done.
Mr. Mayor, I have a couple of reports. The City Historic Preservation Commission is meeting later this week on site with representatives from the State Historic Preservation Office and the consultant contracted to write the National Register grant for the middle school gymnasium. So they're coming Friday. The commission will be submitting a grant application to match a grant awarded from the Idaho Heritage Trust to remove sections of the metal slipcover on the People's Furniture Building to assess the feasibility and cost to restore the building's exterior to its historic appearance.
Super.
It's got a metal...
That's so exciting.
I know, it's really exciting. And they'll be submitting a grant to cover the cost of doing a survey of our downtown and adjacent residential area to determine the feasibility of creating 2 historic districts, that downtown and the adjacent residential area. So they're busy as bees, as always. And the library board met as well, and they served 4,355 patrons, and one of the things that came out of the meeting was that the Friends of the Library will be paying Herbert Miller to continue with the very popular computer classes. They're very well attended, people just really enjoy those, and Herbert does a great job, so that's my report.
I would like to add something on the library. I was in there Friday and just witnessed all the kids that are using the library on Fridays. And the little kids, when they come in, you'd think they're coming into a toy store or a candy store, the way they run in there and they're excited. And so it was really cool to see.
It's a happening place for sure.
It is. It's very, someday along the line, we're probably gonna have to find a way to expand our library a little bit, add on, because it's pretty crowded. She uses every inch of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention, I'm sorry. No, I was gonna say, I forgot to mention the animal shelter. If you haven't been by lately, they've added a gazebo, which is great for those that wanna have a little shade while they're there, so swing by again. That group continues to just work and
At
work
the
and
dog
work. At the dog park,
The
sorry.
dog park.
Yeah, sorry. They added that at the dog park.
Super.
Uh-huh.
Right.
One other thing, SREDA, Snake River Economic Development Alliance, their annual meeting is November 20th at the Payette Senior Citizen Center at 137 North Main. Cost for dinner is $20, and you are all invited. Cost will probably be on your own, unless you want to flip me double or nothing.
Make a bet.
But it usually is a very good meeting. They'll have at the minimum a housing report for our general area, which is always interesting. They're lining up a speaker. Had I gone to my other job today, I probably would know who that speaker is, but I didn't. So, but anyway, if you can let me know if you'd like to attend. They just want an RSVP, so they have plenty of food for everyone. It is worth your time if you can go.
Okay, is that it for commission reports? Okay, are there any committee reports?
One thing that we probably haven't been reporting that I thought maybe we should is the fire department calls for the month.
Oh, okay.
And so for October, the city had 16 and the rural had 14 for a total of 30 calls, and they completed 9 code inspections. So I don't know if the public really knows the relationship we have with the fire department, but we're billed basically on our share of the use of the fire department, and so anyway, we get this report monthly, and I thought it would be a good thing to start reporting.
Sounds good. Sounds good. Okay. Are there any commission reports? Or committee reports? Okay, we'll go to department reports.
The city of Weiser has 51 full-time employees and 5 part-time. The Weiser Police Department had 28 adult arrests, 17 being misdemeanor, 11 being felony. There was 31 citations, 11 misdemeanor, and 20 infractions. The police department had 410 calls for service with 128 case reports, 11 felony, 16 misdemeanor, 7 accident, and 5 incident. The City of Weiser Animal Control had 18 dog complaints. 8 dogs were impounded, 6 were returned to owners, 0 were adopted, and 2 were transferred out. Cat complaints was 5. There were 9 impounded, 0 returned to owner, 1 adopted out, and the feral cat TNR program had 4 cats that they were able to trap, neuter, and release. There was 11 wildlife, 2 livestock, and 2 citations were issued. The City of Weiser ordinance complaints were, there was 1 weeds, 3 abandoned vehicle, 14 parking, 4 camper occupancy, 5 bin inspection, and 1 storage container. The wastewater department, October flow for 2024 was 33,940,000. October flow for 2025 was 34,770,000, for a daily average in October of 1,090,000. The wastewater department hauled 92 tons of biosolids to a farmer on the west side of Weiser. They inspected 1,000 feet of sewer lines with new camera truck. They rotivated biosolids at city drying beds, and they did claim 3,000 feet of sewer line on West 6th and 7th. The water department water production for October of 2024 was 21,973,000. October of 2025 was 17,123,000. I'm not quite sure if that is a accurate number. I did get my report from a different individual than Bill, so. The water department repaired a water main break on East 8th and Court. They installed a new fire hydrant at the fire department. They winterized outbuildings and started seasonal prep work at the water plant. They also reviewed plans for East Liberty Townhouse project as well as East 4th Street subdivision. The electric department's power consumption for September of 2024 was 4,006,887. And September of 2025 was 4,372,164. The electric department finished the curb gutter and sidewalk at the pole yard. They installed LED lights on the Oregon Bridge. They pulled new wire to the beacon at the airport. They also set transformers and energized them in the Sundance subdivision. And they upgraded the electrical service to the Wells Fargo building. The street department trimmed trees at problem intersections, ran a load of asphalt to patch various potholes and patches for various departments' projects. They ran the sweeper for 4 days. They planted 4 new trees at the Laird property. They blew out all the irrigation lines at the city parks. And they started alley cleanup. The recreation department, outdoor sports are buttoned up and they are moving indoors. The boys basketball will be starting with 4 teams in the 3rd and 4th grade and 3 teams in the 5th and 6th grade, with 44 boys in the 1st and 2nd grade league. We have a total of 49 girls in the basketball clinic this year, and they are currently taking registration for women's volleyball. The building department had 1 building permit, that being an accessory building. Dave did 12 inspections and 5 consults. Mayor and City Council, that concludes your department report for October of 2025.
Okay. You've all had a chance to look at the minutes to the last meeting. Would there be a motion to accept that?
I make a motion that we amend our motion, because last month we approved we named the wrong month of minutes that we approved.
Ah,
I don't know if that was me. It may have been.
Yeah, so we just need an amendment to the motion for last month and then to approve the minutes for this month.
Correct. So I motion that we amend our minutes from last month to name the appropriate month, which was September 2025, not August 2025.
okay.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed.
I motion that we approve the October 2025 minutes as presented.
I second that.
It's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Oh, no, wait, Royce
Aye.
said, yeah. Whatever it is. I'm gonna
We
stop.
only have one eye there. Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passed. Okay, has the finance committee had a chance to look at the bills?
We have, Mayor,
That's good.
and I can't remember what I'm supposed to say. Natasha can help me out.
The finances have been looked over by the finance committee and they could be drawn for warrant.
That's
Right,
what I
so we're
moved.
just sign.
What she said.
And I'll second that.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded, sort of. Can we have a roll call, please?
Does it hurt your tooth when you smile?
Yeah.
Councilmember Von Broadhurst,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Shipman,
Yes.
Blackwell,
Yes.
Poe,
Yes.
Han.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. And there's no unfinished business, so we'll move on to new business. First of all is a public hearing for proposed ordinance for storage containers with conditional use on commercial and industrial property. And looks like we have a room full of people here. Is there anyone who would like to speak in favor of this ordinance?
I'll first read the ordinance.
Oh, go ahead, yes, please.
Can't wait. So the Weiser City Ordinance, number 1275, an ordinance of the City of Weiser, Washington County, Idaho, enacting a new Chapter 9 to Title 4, Building Regulations, Weiser City Code, entitled Non-Temporary Portable Storage Containers, providing for the allowance of non-temporary portable storage containers in commercial and industrial zones by conditional use permit, providing for an application process for the permit, providing for public hearing on applications and notice, and provide that this ordinance be effective upon its passage, approval, and publication according to law. Be it ordained by the Mayor and City Council of the City of Weiser, Idaho, that Weiser City Code Title 4 is hereby amended to add a new Chapter 9 entitled Non-Temporary Portable Storage Containers, to read in its entirety as follows. Section 1. That the Title 4 Weiser City Code is hereby amended to add a new chapter entitled Non-Temporary Portable Storage Containers, to read in its entirety as follows. Chapter 9, Non-Temporary Portable Storage Containers. 4-9-1, General. It is recognized that there has been an increasing number of portable storage containers as defined by Weiser City Code Title 4, Chapter 8, Section 4-8-1, requested to be allowed longer than the time period set forth in Weiser City Code Title 4, Chapter 8, Section 4-8-1. It is also recognized that many of the uses portable storage containers possess characteristics of such unique and special nature relative to location, design, and size that each specific portable storage container must be considered individually. 4-9-2, public hearing required. The City Council shall hold a public hearing on each non-temporary portable storage container permit application. Following a recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission, the City Council may approve, conditionally approve, or deny a temporary portable storage container permit under the conditions as herein specified, and considered such additional safeguards as will uphold the intent of this title and when it is not in conflict with the comprehensive plan. 4-9-3, applicable zones. Non-temporary portable storage containers shall only be allowed in commercial and industrial zones. 4-9-4, contents of application. An application for a non-temporary portable storage container permit shall be filed with the Planning and Zoning Administrator by at least one owner or leasee of property for which non-temporary portable storage container is proposed. At a minimum, the application shall contain the following information. 1. Name, address, email address, and phone number of applicant. 2. Legal description of the property. 3. Description of existing use. 4. Zone classification. 5. Description of a proposed portable storage container. 6. A plan of the proposed site for the portable storage container showing the location of all buildings, parking and loading areas, traffic access and traffic circulation, open spaces, landscaping, refuse and service areas, utilities, signs, yards, and other such information as the City Council may require to determine if the proposed portable storage container meets the intent and requirements of this title. 7. A narrative statement evaluating the effects on adjoining property of such elements as noise, glare, odor, fumes, and vibration. Discussion of the general compatibility with adjacent and other properties in the zone and the relationship of the proposed portable storage container to the comprehensive plan. And B. A filing fee set by resolution of the City Council shall accompany the application. 4-9-5. Applicable standards. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall review the particular facts and circumstances of each proposed non-temporary portable storage container in terms of the following standards, and shall find adequate evidence showing that such use is the proposed location. A. Will be placed, operated, and maintained maintained to be harmonious and appropriate in appearance with the existing or intended character of the general vicinity. B, will not be hazardous or disturbing to existing or future neighboring uses. C, will be served adequately by essential public facilities and services such as highway, street, police and fire protection, drainage structures, refuse disposal, water and sewer and schools, or that the person or agencies responsible for the establishment of the proposed use shall be adequately able to provide any such services. D, will not create excessive additional requirements at the public cost for public facilities and services and will not be detrimental to the economic welfare of the community. E, will not be detrimental to any person, property, or the general welfare of the reason of excessive production of traffic, noise, smoke, fumes, glare, or odor. Will not result in the destruction, loss of, or damage of a natural, scenic, or historic feature of major importance. G, will be compliant with all setbacks set forth for the applicable zone. H, will be placed according to the City of Weiser Building Code for permanent structures. I, will be placed upon the rear of the property or screened by fencing or vegetation so that the portable storage container is not viewable from any street or adjoining property. J, will be placed so as not to stack any portable storage container upon another portable storage container or structure other than a foundation. K, will only be used for storage purposes and not for the resale or rental of portable storage containers. L, will only be used by the property owner or leasee of the property where the portable storage container is located. No portable storage container shall be leased or rented to a third party. M, will not exceed 10 feet in height for the portable storage container. N, will be compliant with minimum open space requirements when adding the square footage of the portable storage container with any other structure located upon the property. 4-9-6, supplementary conditions. In granting any non-temporary portable storage container permit, the City Council may prescribe appropriate conditions, bonds, and safeguards in conformity with this title. Violation of such conditions, bonds, and safeguards when made a part of the terms under the non-temporary portable storage container permit is granted shall be deemed a violation of this title. 4-9-7, procedure for hearing. The Planning and Zoning Commission shall hold a public hearing on any non-temporary portable storage container permit request and make recommendations to the City Council. The Commission may recommend approval or denial and may recommend the addition of conditions, terms, duties, or obligations to any non-temporary portable storage container permit. The City Council shall hold a public hearing on any non-temporary portable storage container permit request and shall review the recommendation from the Planning and Zoning Commission. The City Council may review, deny, and may add conditions, terms, duties, or obligations to the non-temporary portable storage container permit. Non-temporary portable storage container permit may be approved at the sole discretion of the City Council. 4-9-8, notice. Public hearings required under this chapter shall be conducted and notice shall be provided pursuant to Idaho Code Section 67-6509. Section 2, all previous ordinances, resolutions, order, or parts thereof in conflict with herewith are hereby repealed, rescinded, and annulled. Section 3, any part of this ordinance shall be held unconstitutional or void. Such part shall be deemed severable, and its invalidity shall not affect the remaining parts of this ordinance. Section 4, the city clerk is instructed to immediately forward this ordinance to the codifier of the official municipal code for proper revision of the code. Section 5, this ordinance or summary thereof is in compliance with Section 50-901A Idaho Code, shall be published once in the official newspaper of the city and shall take effect on in force upon its passage, approval, and publication.
Thank you. Good job. Okay, now, we'll have our public hearing. And are there any people who, or persons who would like to give positive testimony for this ordinance? Not all at once. Okay. Any neutral comments? Yes, sir. Come forward and state your name and address, and you'll have 2 minutes.
Thank you. My name is Michael Zura. I live at 935 West 4th Street. I'm glad to see that the council's looking at the possible, exploring this time container part of the code together. I come to this in a neutral sense in that I'm hoping that residents and the council look at all of this in a larger context. We look at it as an existing code, part of the nuisance part of the code. It's been clearly outlined in the code as it is, and we haven't been in a position to where we've been able to enforce it. And so clearly something needs to be done, and it's not just from an enforcement thing. The reason I come to this for a neutral plane is that I'm hoping that everybody, council and residents, look at this in not just a battle over whether we're going to have containers in town or not. Does it make town look junky or not? You can go back and forth, but to look down the road 5 years, one of the big themes during election time was how important it was to have to look to the future, for future business to come to Weiser, to help the company grow. Imagine, if you will, maybe 5 years down the road, we have some real good candidates that can bring us jobs that aren't going to tax our water. They're not going to tax our electrics. They look like good candidates. Well, I look from experience, as do many of you. What they do is they come and they look at the city. They go from one end to the other. They look at things that are wonderful. Your museum is fantastic. Your downtown is looking good. What a wonderful high school. Why do you guys have shipping containers downtown? Can you, in the residential areas? And if I put myself in the place of a corporate person that's looking to expand the company, I'm on their committee and I'm bringing a report back, things like I noticed that we're starting to work on the alleyways, the nuisance situation. But we have containers that by my research, came in after the grandfather situation when the ordinance first came in. They have never been permitted. They aren't permitted now. They're in clear violation. I'm not privileged to everything that goes on, and I know that to get the public's support, you have to be convinced that everything that we're doing is for the good of the city. It's not just a punishment and fine thing. So, that it's important that we, as Weiser, whatever decision that we come to, that the public's on board with it. And so it's not an edict. But that's the way that I look at it from there. So it should be a win all the way around for everybody. It's going to be an inconvenience for some people, you bet. And some of that's because we haven't dealt with this. But we're going forward now. We're trying to move forward the right way. And I don't know anybody here that I've talked to in the public or anybody on the council that I've ever talked to that would see that this isn't accurate. And if there is, please educate me, because that's just the way that I see it now. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone who is against the ordinance? Okay, since no one came forward, we will close the public hearing. Okay. Next item on the agenda is ordinance number 1275, non-temporary storage containers. We've all had a chance to listen to this. Do we need to read it again?
Oh my gosh. If you want to sit through it, I could do it.
As far as discussion goes, I think just so that, to answer Mike's neutral concerns, that is definitely something that the committee, when we met, were trying to be very cognizant about. right? Understanding what's the forward growth look like for Weiser. And so we vacillated quite a bit on how do we meet the needs of our businesses and the industries that we have that are supporting Weiser, but still respect and reserve the long-term look that we're hoping for, right? Without letting things go a little crazy. And I think all of us, we finally came to that decision as a committee to say, this is the best way. So in the ordinance, it does not allow it in residential zones, period. It is only in our commercial areas. And there are enough, I think, guidelines and restrictions, and the idea that it has to come before the current council, whoever it is, for ultimate approval, so that that control is still within city council's control, to make sure that we're maintaining those needs, wants, and desires. And I've heard from individuals that are very pleased with it, and those that are also frustrated, but overall, I think it's a step, personally, as a committee member, I think it's a step in the right direction to support those businesses and industries within Weiser that are doing what they're doing for our community. And I think all of them will appreciate it, personally.
Mayor, I just, first of all, I want to thank the members of the zoning committee who worked on this. As Sterling said, we met several times. We started with an ordinance that was created 7 or 8 years ago. As I recall, I was pretty new on the council when we did it. And it pretty much said you can't have one anywhere. And so that's what we started with. And it was our conclusion that, maybe there are some uses that are appropriate for those, those particular structures. And so that's how this ordinance came about, as a little bit of a, maybe there are some reasons that you could, properly use one of these. And I think it came from, a couple of requests lately that we do take a look at it. So we did. We're basically trying to treat them as any other permanent structure. That was our goal. Is if they're going to be there and they're going to be there permanently, they ought to abide by the same setbacks and all that other permanent buildings do. And so that's the genesis of this. I think it's a good ordinance. I think it's a proper change to our existing ordinance, to give someone, if it's a good idea and it doesn't doesn't clutter up things for our neighbors, then we ought to have a way for people to apply for that and be approved.
Okay.
Yeah, I also want to thank the P&Z committee for the work they put in on this. I think it is well done, and I think it will serve those needs under conditional use. I just think that it's a positive move for our community.
I'm very pleased that the aesthetics were taken into consideration.
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, one of the things that struck me in the minutes from planning and zoning was that, like, for example, the use, Bimart has used theirs in the past to store bulk purchases of merchandise that they didn't have room to store in the store, and that makes those things available to the citizens of Weiser at a lesser cost than they would if they couldn't buy in bulk like that. And also, the school district pointed out their use of the storage container to store wrestling mats. and the stage for graduation, things that are not used all the time. And so I think those were some really important facts that helped us make this decision.
I would make a motion at this time that we pass ordinance number 1275.
So first you need to make an ordinance
This one first.
to read it by title only.
You wanna do that, you want me to? You
Go
do
ahead.
it? Okay. I make a motion that we suspend the rules and pass ordinance 1275 on to a third and final reading by title only.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to read the ordinance by title only.
Weiser City Ordinance number
We
1275.
have to take a vote on
Oh.
that. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Weiser City Ordinance 1275, an ordinance of the City of Weiser, Washington County, Idaho, enacting a new Chapter 9 to Title 4, Building Regulations, Weiser City Code, entitled Non-Temporary Portable Storage Containers, providing for the allowance of non-temporary portable storage containers in commercial and industrial zones by conditional use permit, providing for an application process for the permit, providing for the public hearing on an application and notice, and providing that the ordinance be effective upon its passage, approval, and publication according to law.
Okay. Now I would like to make a motion that we pass ordinance 1275, temporary storage container with conditional use on commercial and industrial property.
I said 1275.
Okay.
Second?
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Han,
Yes.
Von Bredhorst,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Hope,
Yes.
Blackwell,
Yes.
and Chipman.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Motion passed. Resolution number 704 for the fee structure for Fry Foods. Mr. Chambers, can you enlighten us?
Lonnie Chambers, City of Weiser wastewater supervisor. Yes, this resolution is, we have went through and redone the fee structure, not the fees for Fry Foods. These fees are what they pay for their wastewater that goes out the back door, which is their industrial. These fees they pay, that helps the city cost recovery wise because we are treating that waste for them. So what we've done, the reason we restructured it is because the pH probe that we have down there, we're getting rid of the pH probe, which is going to save the city time and money. The oily water that Fry Foods sends out fouls that probe. They have to write letters to the city stating what was wrong, what are they going to do to correct it, and what are they going to do to move forward and not have this problem again. Well, this created a problem with the agencies that look at our paperwork, DEQ, which is the Department of Environmental Quality, and EPA, Environmental Protection Agency. Now we have this paperwork sitting there that could be looked at in a bad way or a good way. It just, we wanted to get rid of that. So by redoing the structures for the fee, it used to be 0 to 600, this is what they paid. It's a tiered schedule, just like what Idaho Power would charge you under power bill. It's a tiered schedule. The more you use, the higher the rate you fall into. So with Fry Foods, by getting rid of the pH probe, what we did to keep them in the oil out, we went from 0 to 300, 300 to 600. So we took that 600 and we cut it in half. That was the only thing we did different on the fee schedule. So I know it's a little complicated unless you see it all on Excel and you've got all these things broken up so you can see it. But we're hoping, we know that getting rid of the pH probe is going to save the city time and money. It's also going to get rid of that paperwork that could be a discrepancy with the state or the government. But at the same time, the fee schedule will hopefully give Fry Foods a incentive to keep the water clean, because if they get too dirty, they're going to be paying more. And it's always been that way, it's just, we had a 0 to 600. Now we have a 0 to 300 fee, a 300 to 600 fee, and then it goes on and on up to 1,000. Are there any questions on that? I hope I didn't confuse everybody too much.
So the probe that you talked about that we don't have anymore, is that how historically I guess the amount of oil in the water has been monitored?
No, so let me back up a little bit. So currently, yes, the city still has the probe. If you approve this permit and this resolution, December 1st is when their permit is renewed. That's when we will remove the probe. But currently, the probe is still there. It is still being used. Oil, that's our fog, fats, oils, and grease. We send that off to analytical labs. We take a grab sample of that water. We send that off, and that's where they tell us what the level of oil is in there. The city still has that option. We are not getting rid of that option. We want to keep that option, because if we know Fry Foods is dumping oil down the drain in excess of 100 milligrams per liter, I want that option to sample that water, because there is a fee with that, because it costs the city money to treat that. So we want to keep that option available. The probe, it is checking pH, which is your potential hydrogen. It's on a scale from 1 to 14. Anything under 6.5 or over a 9, there's a fee associated with that. By getting rid of that, that oil won't collect on it and foul the probe. The probe has to be clean all the time, but at the same time, we're not saying, we're gonna let you have this for free. No, we're gonna restructure the fees, so when you are dirty on your water, there is a fee that goes to that next step, and you are paying more for that. So, it's just an incentive to get them to keep giving the city clean water. They do treat on the inside. We want them to keep doing that, because we don't want them to send all of their batter and onion rings down the line to the city to treat, because it does cause problems in the wastewater lines and at the plant.
Okay, so historically, we've been doing the tests you described as well, and the probe, and so we're not gonna do the probe
Nope.
anymore. We're gonna rely on the tests themselves, and we're giving them them being the applicant here, the incentive to have less oil in the water, because it costs them more if they do not.
Yes. And so currently, they do have a pH probe inside. We're going to make them send that information to us every week so we can look at it. With their calibration records that shows they are doing everything per manufacturer recommendations to calibrate that equipment, make sure it's good. So we still will see the pH, but we're gonna let them do it. You know, this is their water. Why don't we stop doing so much for them? They need to take care of their own stuff, and they do that. But we're gonna make them prove the records are good. We're gonna let them send that to us.
So we'll get their information, plus we'll get our own information from the water test to verify that.
Yes, from the lab, yes. And we send 80% of the samples we take from Fry Foods all go to analytical labs, which is a lab in Boise. By having them do these samples, that's taking the liability off of the city. Because we don't want to get into legal battle with them. They're saying, oh, you did the samples and they were fouled for some reason. And we're not perfect, sometimes people make mistakes, but we want to try to limit the liability of the city, let the outside lab do these samples, they give us that data back, and it goes into the billing. So.
Okay, so what happens if the results are different, what their probe says and what the, the analyzation shows? So
we have them send the calibration records over. In the permit that is going to get renewed, it does state in there that the city can come in and audit you at any time. So we have that option. If we see that there is something's not matching up on the numbers, we have that option to go in and sit down at the table with them, have them pull all of their records out for the last 3 years and prove that they're right. And look at that paperwork. With the pretreatment program that the state of Idaho has implemented, we have to go in once a year and inspect all of the wastewater facility there. We go out, we look at the parking lot, we make sure they're not dumping oil down a drain somewhere. We do look at all those records. Once a year, it is mandatory, we have to do that. I have to send those papers over to DEQ so they can look at it, make sure the city of Weiser is doing their job. So there are checks and balances along the way. If we see something's not adding up, like if they're saying it was a 7 and the lab's saying it's a 5, we're gonna be talking. And I wanna see those calibration reports, records, and see if we can figure out why things are not matching.
Okay, so is the difference in rate like a lot?
Not a lot. It starts out, so we did do, last year we did do an increase on the rates. I don't know if you remember. So the rates now, when we talk BOD, we'll just talk pounds for a minute. 1 pound to 300, 0.34 cents a pound. And then from there it goes up to 0.46. So it's not a lot of money per pound. When you have 1,000 pounds, that's when it really adds up. Typically, fry foods, we do samples every day that go to the lab. Typically, they're in the range of 200 to 300 on a daily. When they have a boo-boo inside and something happens, we see those 600s. That's when we know, when we look at the previous data, that's when we know that they were fouling the probe with oil. So if it's a 600, that goes into the next bracket, the fee is higher. And so there's your incentive to clean the water up.
Okay, and it's enough to incentivize them to,
Well, if it goes over 1,000, it's $6.
Yeah, and the 0
Per
to,
pound, yeah.
Yeah.
to 600, it's not a huge increase. That increase it gets bigger is when you start seeing the 800, 900,000. That's when the increase is, it's significant.
okay. And is it worth it to us to give the discount? Are our costs that much lower to allow that?
Currently, right now, when we look at the cost analysis on what the lab fee, what everything, we're pretty much still breaking even. So in the future, there might be an increase when we see more increases on the chemicals we're using or the salt for the water. Time will tell on that, but currently
Okay, but we
it's,
think so. Okay. Thank you. Sorry, I just
Nope,
needed to understand.
that's okay.
I think our meetings with Fry were very positive. They look forward to working with the city. They have an open door policy. Actually, they invited us to do inspections unannounced. They prefer they were unannounced because they want it to be right. And it was the meetings we had with them were very positive. And this was a win-win situation, I think. I think we all left there feeling that way. So.
Well, they're looking at it going, I don't have to write violation paperwork? Wonderful, you know, and the city, of course, I have to write I'm the guy that's writing the letter to them, you have a violation, and so now we gotta get all this paperwork in order, and it's all gotta be packaged together, because if the city gets audited from the government, I wanna make sure the city's protected. And that's my job is to protect the city best I can, so. This is a win-win for both of us. It gets rid of it, but at the same time, the city's not just giving them a free pass. There's an incentive to keep your water clean. If it goes dirty, you're going to get billed at a higher rate, so.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Mr. Mayor, I have a motion that we approve Resolution 704 for the new fee structure with Fry Foods.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Hoag,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Blackwell,
Yes.
Shipman,
Yes.
Han,
Yes.
Von Redhorst.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Next is to approve the annual permit for Fry Foods.
And I think, I mean, Lonnie's already talked a lot, but just briefly what our meeting was and the updates into that contract that we met with the committee. Not just the new fee structure, but we also made sure that we passed on some of the lab testing onto Fry Foods rather than the bill come to the city, have to front the bill and then send the bill to Fry Foods. We've clarified that process, I believe, so that the bill goes directly to, or at least we've streamlined that process, I think, to make it a little easier.
We're just gonna separate it, so.
They'll
we'll
separate it,
keep- we'll
invoice
keep
it
Fry-
separately, so we have it,
Fry Foods
yeah.
will be completely on one bill, everything else will be on another, and then they'll just pay that.
And they'll pay just their portion rather than try to figure out who owed what at the end of the month, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and then I think the other thing that we also did was, I mean, we're all very excited about the removal of the probe, let's be very honest. I think we're all excited, so that's worked into the contract as well, because that will help with the man labor that's going into that. And then this contract also should reflect the actual 5% increase that I think, the language for the 5% increase that wasn't quite correct in last year's contract, so that has been fixed and corrected. Those are my notes from our meeting anyway on what we,
Yep.
so. There you go, did my chair go?
Okay, thank you.
And then I think there was just one other clarification, that it said that the permit went from December 1 to November 31st. Make note, there is no November 31st.
It's just November.
What
It
world
was just
do you live
November
in?
30th. It was part of my council.
Okay.
Get it right.
Okay,
Okay, well, thanks for the committee's work, and Lonnie, thanks for your work on getting this done. It sounds like, from what you tell me, this is gonna be a better deal for everybody.
okay, so,
So, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to authorize all parties to sign the annual Fry Food permit.
I'll second.
okay, it's been moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion passed. Next up is to consider a backup generator for the water department. Our valiant city clerk will,
Okay, so this is a backup generator, basically to run the Chicken Hill reservoir. They realized that they have, if anything were to happen and Idaho Power were to go down, we did not have any backup safety net, anything. So this is a quote from Burke Electric for the total amount of $36,661. And this is budgeted, they have their own budget for the system up there, so it would come out of that budget.
okay, so this is just for Chicken Hill residents? Okay,
Well, for the reservoir,
reservoir.
yeah, up there.
My generator's so expensive.
They're crazy.
yes. Okay, other than that, are there any, how expensive they are?
I'm sorry.
Are there any other questions or comments?
No, I mean, we worked with Burke before, and I think they're a good company that treat us well, so
Yeah.
I see no reason not to honor the contract. So with that being said, unless there's further discussion, I motion that we approve the purchase of the backup generator for the water department from Burke Electric for the amount of $36,661.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Blackwell,
Yes.
Han,
Yes.
Poe,
Yes.
Von Redhorst,
Yes.
Shipman,
Yes.
Hopkins.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Moving right along to number 6, which is a quote for a tractor for the street department. And Mr. McDaniel, would you mind coming forward and enlightening us?
Good evening. Ron McDaniel, City of Weiser, Street Department Supervisor. We came to you before with the request to use some fund balance, and I believe it's a total of $135,000. We had our heart set on mimicking, plus a cab, the side mower that we have right now. Not to replace it, but to add to the fleet. What we found is that the style of tractor that we have right now, in order to get basically the same setup, you would have to buy a very large tractor, like really, really big, to the tune of like 90,000 just for the tractor, not including the mower deck itself. So we started exploring options. We found that if you get a smaller tractor, you can get this 3-point setup for the back of it that has basically an articulating blade, a flail mower that comes out off the back end. Really great mower. So we thought, we'll go get some quotes. We went to Kubota because, well, first we looked at the LS and the bad boy out on the highway. For the flail mower that we need, a similar tractor to what Lonnie got for his rotavator would not work, it was underpowered for what we needed. That mower is I believe the tractor is, I believe, a 60 horsepower. We needed 70 to do the flail mower. So their 70 was expensive, and what we found is that the RPM, where you would have to run the RPMs at on that tractor, would be at about 23 or 2400 RPM, which, talking to the mechanic and other people who run a lot of tractors, that's quite high. So we didn't want to tax the engine as much as they were saying that we would have to. So we went out to look somewhere else. We went to Kubota with the flail mower setup that they had. That's why I have glasses. They had everything that we needed. It was a 70 horsepower tractor, and with the mower. So let me back up here. Once we realized that we were going to be stationary on the center of the tractor, we realized that going off the 3-point, we had the option for a front loader or the bucket on the front of the tractor. So then we can drop this attachment, this implement, and we could use the tractor, this cab tractor, for snow removal and other things, which is really tempting because the one we have now is basically a paperweight in between mowing. That's what that tractor does. So we thought we'll explore that. So that we went to Kubota. They had this pretty decent tractor, but they wanted $89,000 for that tractor. And mind you, my $135,000 was for my tractor and my truck, my used 10-wheeler. So we were going to take a lesser, or take the option for a lesser 10-wheeler if need be. And so we said, well, we need some quotes for you folks. We'll go to John Deere, thinking there's no way we can afford John Deere. I mean, it's John Deere green, you know, they're expensive. Turns out, for the same setup that they have, that the Kubota had, with the front loader, this would come with their standard bucket is, the front bucket is like yard use, you know, not real heavy duty. So even with an upgraded heavier duty bucket, so we can scrape the snow and the ice from the road, that tractor came in at $76,850. And right. So we're wanting permission to purchase this tractor with the fund balance that we talked about coming out of the $135,000 total.
Big new toy.
Not that big, not as big as you.
So how old is the paperweight that you're replacing? I mean, the other tractor?
Ooh, I would say it's the 60s.
Yeah.
And we're not replacing it, we're still
No.
going to use it. We
Right,
just,
but-
the amount of property that we have to mow, we could make use of our time, get it taken care of with one more person in the seat and move on to the next task. And also it has a cab that would then make it going this route versus the paperweight that we talked about, we can use it for other things, which is quite appealing for me.
And you're taking better care of your employees, putting them in a better tractor. I mean, middle of the summer, that open top tractor, I
I
watched
would
them
have
out in
loved
the
one of
dust
those
and
19 years ago.
the heat and, yeah.
I think a little dust doesn't hurt anybody, but also you're right, it does. It takes care of them. With that being said, we looked it over, we got this tractor under price of the Kubota is 75 horse. There's nothing that we're going to do with it that is going to make it underpowered.
Nice.
So not only is it a John Deere, but it's 5 horsepower stronger than the other tractor. And this comes with I found out recently that a tractor is a tractor, and then if you want a loader on the front of it, that means the arms and the bucket. I had no idea. I thought because we just bought a loader, it has the bucket on the front. Turns out they're different. So anyway, this was, we did all our checks and balances. We visited with the people at Kubota and John Deere, and we find this to be the best spent money for the city.
Do you think you'll have enough money left over in your fund balance to purchase the truck that you're on?
I will have, if allowed to purchase this, I'll have
If
$58,150.
And is that, do you think that's enough to get what you need?
Yes, I believe so. We just, can't remember the name of the company, but Matt, the mechanic, just found, I think 2 weeks ago, he found a 10-wheel semi or a truck that was a 97 or 98, so pre-def, which is what we want. And it was $46,000
Okay.
with low miles for a diesel. So I think we're well within the range, and because we have the 58,150 doesn't mean I'll spend that.
Sure.
I just
Thank you.
would like to be able to, if need be.
Sure. Very good.
So I guess I think they're two different things that we need to talk about. I'd like to purchase the tractor.
Yeah, I just want to make sure that before we approve one,
Right,
that
right.
it's going to be the right choice and you'll still have enough.
I believe so. I think we're probably $5,000 to $8,000 over what we're going to need, just by browsing.
Okay,
But
perfect.
digging deeper, I think for sure with that money, we can afford one.
Well, I'm sure anytime you buy anything used, you need a little extra just in case.
Right.
So looking at the tractor that we're not replacing, but we're adding additional help so we can get everything done, and the truck that I think you're replacing that needs to be replaced, I think it's time to make this purchase.
So was that a motion?
I think it was.
I would make that as a
That's
motion.
what I heard.
Okay.
I'll second that
Okay,
motion.
it's been moved and seconded. Could we have a roll call, please?
Yes, we can. Councilmember Hopkins,
Yes.
Shipman,
Yes.
Von Redhorst,
Yes.
Hahn,
Yes.
Pope,
Yes.
Blackwell.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, motion passed. Next item up is to approve the remaining spending authority for the purchase of a truck for the streets.
Yes.
Oh, and that's Ron too.
Yes, it is. That's the 58,150 or less if we can get a good truck for that. We got the fund balance, I'm asking for spending authority. If something pops up, instead of having to wait for the next city council meeting, just to be able to get it.
And, you know, the nice part about it is, you know, I've worked with these guys long enough to know that when they research to find out that we're getting the best deal, we're getting the best deal.
Ron looks like someone who goes down rabbit holes.
They're bigger when I'm done.
But they do a really good job of researching and trying and spending money, city's money wisely. I'll stake my reputation on that.
I appreciate it.
I'll stake yours as well.
You'll stake me to the ground if I
So then our motion should be to, whatever's left, the
58,150.
So the motion would need to make sure it specified not to exceed the
Not to exceed.
58,150. I move
Oh, she got it. I love that.
To approve the remaining spending authority not to exceed $58,150 for purchase of the street truck.
I'll
Second.
second.
Oh.
I'll third.
Okay.
It's been moved, seconded, and third. Could we have a roll call, please?
Councilmember Chipman,
Yes.
Blackwell,
Yes.
Han,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Von Redhorst,
Yes.
Hope.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed.
Thank you, everyone. Have fun shopping.
I think they've got some of their shopping done already. Okay, and next we'll have Mr. Chambers back up to talk to us about site work for a sewer main.
Yes, we are, well, let me back up a minute. City of Weiser wastewater treatment plant, Lonnie Chambers, wastewater supervisor. Now I can go.
Yes.
So we are trying to use the city's money the best way we can and get these pipes replaced in town. So we're gonna be up hard on getting after pipes for a while. We just got done doing the one behind the county shop, which turned out pretty good. So we've got brand new SDR 35 8-inch plastic pipe in there. It should last 100 years. And so we're wanting to go with another one this year. Hopefully we can start it. But this line is the alley west of State Street. So it's in between State Street and First Street, on the side, in between Butterfield and Pioneer. So the sewer line back there, it's an old clay terracotta line, a lot of roots coming into it. We've had a lot of problems. I've got to have operators go by once a week, check, make sure we're not backing up houses, that the sewer is flowing. So let's get down to the quotes. We did have 3 quotes that come through. One of them was, the contractor said, I don't want to do it, but I'll give you a quote. And it was $185,000.
Oh, that's my
Kind of
guess.
wowed at that.
He really doesn't want to do it.
Yes, he didn't want to do it. So the second quote that came in was $56,000 and some change, and the lowest quote that we had was, I don't have the actual numbers in front of me because I forgot my paperwork, but the good quote that we got out of it was $49,000 and some change. The 2 companies that have the lower bids on there, we've had Stone Excavation put a manhole in for us last year. But as far as seeing either one of them put sewer line in, I have no clue. I do know that the second highest quote, this is a big company. They've got, oh gosh, they've got places in Washington all the way to Salt Lake. They're a big company. This is what they do for a living. And the best bid on there, they do the same thing, but they're a smaller company, so. I don't care. I'm gonna leave it to you guys.
So you're comfortable with either one?
Either one. Honestly, I'm comfortable with either one of them. From listening to other cities, both of them, they said do a good job. I physically haven't seen either one of them put pipe in the ground, so I don't know how they put pipe in the ground because I haven't seen it, but from the other cities I've talked to, both of these companies do a good job.
I like that Tapani is local. It has an office based in Weiser, which I've never heard of. That's great.
That gentleman actually lives here in town.
What? I didn't know that. That's,
Oh.
I learned something new today. But I think that's nice. I mean, if we, I like supporting local when we can, just because there's that direct investment in our community rather than being outside. But I have no opinion.
This is a
outside of
big
that.
job. This is 520 feet. There's 19 sewer taps on there that serve 19 houses, which means there's 9 gas lines you're gonna have to cross, 9 ditch water lines. I mean, this is going to be a big job. 8 foot deep down the alley. It's very narrow alley, so when you dig the spoils out, you don't have a lot of room to put them. I mean, this is
Big job. That's my vote, personally.
So you need somebody that can get in and get it done pretty fast, so you don't.
Well, I wouldn't say necessarily get in and get it done fast. I mean, if we've had
Done
winters
right.
like we've had the last 3 winters, the frost didn't go very deep, so an excavator can dig it pretty easy.
You don't wanna leave the alley tore up for any extended period of time, right?
You know, with the alley, it's not as bad as a main road. As they're going along, we put road mix back down in there, so it won't be muddy for the customers that have to park in the alley, you know, that have little garages and things like that. So, we can definitely road mix it up, you know, take away some of that mud. But if the road mix freezes and you can't get out of the pile, now you've got problems, so.
Lonnie, is there an estimated length of time that this job could take?
You know, with the bigger company, they'd probably be in and out in 2 weeks. With the smaller company, it might be 3 weeks.
Okay.
It just, you know, that is kind of the nicer thing, you know, if you go with a big company that has
All the
50,
tools.
60 employees and all this equipment, they can get it done a little faster usually. But Mother Nature's nice to us, you know, that's the other factor, is if it rains like cats and dogs, now we're in trouble.
When do you propose to start?
They said as soon as this is, either one of them, as soon as this is approved, they can make plans. But worst case, if the weather gets bad and we see it's coming in, we do it in the spring, you know. Biggest thing is I'd like to get it done before the ditch water line turns on. Because if you break that ditch water line and you got an open trench, now you have a swimming pool. So if we break it, which I'm usually 50% of the ditch water lines in this town, they laid it the same trench as the sewer. And so you're having to work around it. And we do break them every now and then. We fix them back, you know, make sure it's done right. But if you break it and it's an empty pipe, it's not as big of a deal. Where if it's full of water and it's pressurized, it becomes a big swimming pool, so.
More fun for Matt.
There's 13,000 difference, basically.
I'm sorry.
I say we're looking at like 13,000 difference.
Shouldn't be about 30, should only be about 7. Because one of them was 49,000 and some change. and the other-
49,975 is
Yeah.
the stone excavation, and the other one is the 54,810.
So are we by statute obligated to accept the lowest bid?
Not necessarily.
I think sometimes when there's a grant, we're required to. I don't know that it applies because it's not grant work.
Because I guess
Yeah.
I agree with Sterling, I'd rather use our.
We have to be able to justify it.
Right.
Yeah.
So our justification in this case is it's like $5 or $6 grand, because it's a company that maintains an office in our community.
But is also bigger with more equipment and greater manpower to take care of the job. We would hope in a faster manner so that it's less of an inconvenience on our public.
Be nice to get in and get it done.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's what
because
think.
I was gonna say, I agree if it, Sterling, if you're proposing that we spend a little extra money and do the local folks, as long as we're not getting ourselves in trouble by doing so.
Right.
The nice part about it is that then those dollars are spent around here too.
Right.
With workers and that sort of thing.
Right. It's an investment in our community,
Mhm.
all around. Well, I motion, because I'm not hearing further discussion, but I motion that we accept the Tapani Incorporated quote for this work, for the main sewer line, in the amount not to exceed $54,810.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Could we have a roll call?
Councilmember Brown Redwood,
Yes.
Vogt,
Yes.
Chipman,
Yes.
Blackwell,
Yes.
Hopkins,
Yes.
Hahn.
Yes.
Okay, motion passed. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and Council.
Thank you, Lonnie. Okay, next on the agenda is consideration for Rolling Hills Irrigation rebate request.
I think I'll just read it out loud so the public can. So, Natasha, I need to ask the council for approval to front the Rolling Hills Irrigation their pump rebate from the BPA. The rebate is guaranteed to be a minimum of $12,000. With that being said, if this can be run through BPA custom projects, they could get a significantly larger rebate if accepted. What that means is that we would pay them the guaranteed amount up front, and then in October, after they can record a full season of usage and determine that the power savings was significant enough to qualify as custom, then there would be up to 75% of the total pump and VFD upgrade, and in turn, we would keep the amount that we are already paid and then give them the difference in the rebate. So basically, we would front the $12,000, they would run a full season. When they got their rebate, if it was only the $12,000, we'd get the $12,000 back. If it was significantly higher than that, we would keep the $12,000 that we put up front and then just give them the remaining balance of the rebate.
But we know that the rebate is gonna be at least 12,000.
Guaranteed, 12,000,
Yep.
okay.
Yeah, the rebate is guaranteed to be a minimum of $12,000.
It's like a hold on our credit
Okay,
card,
so
basically.
in essence, we're giving them an interest-free loan
Yes.
for
Our
12 months, something like that, 11 months. So I have a question, who's Rolling Hills Irrigation?
So that is the irrigation district that's run off the pump house that's off the canal. And so it serves the Rolling Hills community right there. It's like Flintlock, not Flintlock, I'm sorry, Fairmont and Fairview, and then up towards the golf course.
Okay,
So like from State
So-
Street to Sunset.
Oh, yeah, that neighborhood,
Yeah.
back up in that area.
okay. So I guess, is this like normal? But I guess my question is, why would we do that?
I don't know.
It has to do with we're the power company, okay, and this is a BPA rebate, okay, and so it's helping our customers take advantage of a rebate program from BPA.
So this would be available to them if Idaho Power was their provider, the same, it would,
I don't believe so.
Because it's Bonneville Power,
It's
right?
Bonneville Power.
BPA is
but I
Bonneville
mean,
Power.
if they were with them instead of us, I think Idaho Power has,
They may have a similar program, I don't know. You know, but what it is, it's helping our customers get a larger rebate from Bonneville for putting in the new pump and gaining efficiencies on it.
Okay, so if they take the money, can they take the 12 grand now from BPA and call it a day, or?
Well, what we're doing is buying the pump, basically, letting them run on it for a year, get the efficiencies, and get the rebate on it.
Okay, so they
That's,
don't
that's,
have
that's
no,
what my understanding is.
And so, with all due respect, I do not know the ins and outs and the particulars of this. Mike has strictly been working with him. So if there's any question about moving forward with this, we can absolutely table it until we can get more clarification. We do not, I mean, I would rather the council be educated on what they are agreeing to than just moving forward. So I have no problem tabling it, but I mean, that's a council decision.
okay, so then I guess the other, I just don't understand it, or how, if we do this, or is there gonna be like how many irrigation companies do we have in the, you know, in the city limits that, could they line up and we'd be asked to do the same thing, and if so, is that okay? It's not like
I don't believe so, but again, if there's question, I would rather have all the information and answers to your questions rather than.
Mike put quite a bit of time into this. I mean, he studied it and he spent quite a bit of time on it. I think he was, I can't say, I thought he was pretty excited
And-
about
What
it.
it's doing though is providing a service for
For
our
our customers.
electrical
Right.
customers. You know, we just gave a rebate back to Ridley's for the upgrades they did in their new store. It took a while to get it all done, but it was $189,000.
And so did we put that money up front, or?
It came through our account, but it came from Bonneville.
Okay, so we're involved just because, like other grants, similar to like what we do with the airport and stuff, is the money runs through us
So
to administer.
The $12,000, so if you think of it, the $12,000 is gonna come to us. It is then the city of Weiser that writes the check to,
Okay, so maybe I misunderstood, because I thought we were putting the money up.
We
that
are,
would be us.
okay, we have our own power company. Okay, our power company is buying the unit, okay, to go up there. They get the use of of it for a year, and at the end of the year, they get paid a bonus, they get paid a rebate based on the savings that they have in that. That comes to us, and then we give it on to them.
I guess my question would be if one of the subdivisions that's coming in says, well, we've got this rebate program that we can do through Bonneville because we're hooking up, are we willing to do that for, like, are we gonna be asked to put in the pump for Sundance, or?
But on the new subdivisions, they're putting all new equipment in the first place and aren't replacing anything. And so they wouldn't be eligible for any rebates based on savings.
I guess when I look at this, I don't read that we're buying the pump, we're fronting $12,000 of the cost of the pump.
Okay.
So, you know, I mean, we're sharing that cost, knowing that we will be guaranteed a return of 12,000. I mean, just in my mind, that shift's going, we're not buying this pump and saying, here, use it for a year.
Yeah.
And then
Okay.
we'll get a rebate after. We're fronting a portion of the
So,
cost that they need.
Yeah, I guess my last question is, why wouldn't they buy their own pump and still run the money through us?
Again, I think they are buying the pump. We're just basically gonna
But-
write them a
So
check for
when are we writing
$12,000
this
ahead of time.
$12,000? Like now?
I think we need to know some timelines, like, is this supposed to be like, we're not getting the money till next October? Cause in my banker brain, that just broke it, cause I don't do interest-free loans. Sorry. But, and I just wanna know that, like, that this is something that's been done prior, and that it's acceptable and okay, and.
I motion that we table this until next month when Mike can come back and present full information for
I
us to have a
second that.
better understanding of what is being presented before us.
I'll second that motion.
Been moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, we'll table this till next month. Okay. Next is review proposed setbacks by Agile Homes and discussion. And
PowerPoint and everything.
I don't see anyone from Agile Homes here.
This isn't a presentation from Agile Homes, this is just, ultimately filled out a variance application.
Right.
And in this instance, a variance would never have been allowed because as of right now, how our code reads is the only time you can have a variance when it comes to the setbacks is if there's a land issue.
Correct.
As an example, just south of, the homes that went south of the canal, they didn't have the setbacks to have enough room because the canal came down and took up a portion of the backyard. So in those instances, we could grant a variance because there was a land issue that caused the setbacks to be off.
Correct.
What they're asking for now is for us to, what they went to planning and zoning for was to ask for the ordinance change of the setbacks. So it was tabled, we moved forward. I'm just showing their presentation as an example of what the code could be if we were to review it and change the setbacks.
And just for council's information, Agile has approached us before for the same request early on in my career as a city council person. And I think this is exactly the same thing that they are presenting. It's just a different builder that is presenting it, and Agile
Yeah,
Well,
so.
is there.
Weren't
with
they,
them.
before they were asking for their specific
For their-
project?
Well, no, they had asked for the ordinance change, and we said no,
No.
and then, so, I mean, I don't know that, maybe I'm not supposed to mention previous history, but this has come before us before in the past, asking the same thing, so it's not our first time hearing it as a council.
Right.
So right now the setback is a uniform 25-foot minimum setback from the front property line to the front of home or garage. What they're proposing is going to a 22-foot to the face of the garage, 15 feet to the face of the home or covered porch, and 10 feet from the rear of the property line. And we can just kind of go through these slides and then discuss from that if we wanna. So what that kind of looks like is, some of their discussion was that it would improve public safety through design. Street design impacts drivers' behavior. Large setbacks create wide corridors, encouraging speeding. Closer homes create sense of enclosure and slow traffic naturally. Result safer neighborhoods for pedestrians, children, and families. And this is kind of what it looks like. This is what it would look like with our current standards, and these are the setbacks we have. It would go to this, the more. This is current. So.
And wasn't part of their argument that families now tend to use the backyard more?
Yeah.
But then now we're decreasing the size of the backyard.
Yep.
Yeah, the
That's
size
what I
of the
didn't
one isn't
understand
anything
either,
like
yeah.
that picture of the backyard, that one right there.
Yeah.
So I guess it's a matter of, do we want to consider changing our setbacks in residential B or residential A or whatever? I mean, their request appears to be a change in any new subdivision in residential B. So I guess that's a decision. Do we want to even consider it? If that's the case, then we'd have another 700 committee meetings, and
That's what we're paid for, Larry. It's what we're
that's
paid
what
for.
we're getting the big bucks for. And
$300.
And make a determination. If we do, what should that be? And
Yeah, this affects the whole town. This isn't just the subdivision. What they're proposing would affect all residential, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And so here's the bone I'm gonna pick, is that it's being presented to us like this is the modern trend. This is what all the neighborhoods are doing now. Just go to any neighborhood in any other town and this is what they're doing because it's the trend. But that's not what I see happen. What I see happen is that really we're just trying to shift it so we can fit more homes in. And by decreasing the setback, now I can make the property smaller and you can try to put maybe a bigger house on there, but not really. If you want a bigger house, you need 2 plots to put the bigger home on there. So I can understand their request, but the reality of what happens doesn't match what is being presented in the facts. And if I talk to any of my friends that live in Fruitland or Payette or any of the other communities where these new developments are, that is the one thing I hear them say is that our homes are just so close to each other. I can reach out the window and pat someone on the head in my neighbor's lawn. And I don't think that fits Weiser's vision. But that's me, so I'll just be quiet.
And this isn't an action item, this is just bringing it
Bring
forward.
it to
that
discussion,
it's-
right.
And
that
I would
it's
like to
being-
hear from the fire department what their feelings on having a 2-story home that's 7 feet to the property line, or a single level that's 5 feet, so you have 10 feet between homes. The narrower streets, I drive slower on a narrow street because I'm scared to death a kid's gonna jump out in front of me, but we have some narrow streets in Weiser, and talk to the residents that live on those narrow streets. They're not always the greatest thing, are they?
No.
So,
Well,
I mean, yeah.
yeah, for one thing, in their presentation, the two pictures that they show with big setbacks, you can't tell me that road isn't like substantially wider than the picture they show with the closer setbacks.
Right.
And then enough room to make sure they don't block the sidewalk, because I don't like sidewalks to be blocked.
Right.
Right.
So that driveway has to have plenty of room that they're not.
Right, and, you know, I think I'd like to hear from, you know, the fire department, the police department, the
Street department.
street department, pretty much every department,
Street departments.
it also makes a difference where we are treating properties, we'd be treating properties in the same zone differently, which I'm not sure is fair to the, you know, one way or the other. Does it, you know, does that have an effect on the value of the property for the, you know, residential B if it's on East Butterfield?
Yeah.
You know, my house, I still have to have the 25 feet. The new house on West 9th does not have to do that.
Yeah, 10 feet from the alleyway, you know, that's.
So, you know, I guess there's a few questions in my mind. But, you know, they are correct. You know, there are houses like that all over. And, you know, do we put ourselves at a disadvantage for growth by not having areas like that? So there's a lot to think about, I guess.
Yeah, with the advent of parkour, you know, kids running and jumping, you know.
Every Friday.
There was one house that I lived in as a kid, I could jump as a third grader from my roof to the next roof, and I could see kids doing that. In these subdivisions.
Yeah, well, and I mean, I always go back as far as putting houses closer together. I can get the pictures out of my mind of those places in California that where the fire went from house to house to house to house.
Yeah.
And, you know, does another 5 or 10 feet between houses make a difference? Well, it can't hurt.
I mean, and let's be honest, we have at least one burned down every year. Our homes are older, you know, our downtown area is older, and they're already grandfathered into not having to follow those specific setbacks. We established those larger setbacks as a safety precaution because that was the need that met our community at the time. Just because trends have shifted doesn't mean safety has shifted, so.
Because we do want to look down the road.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, any other discussion?
Could we schedule the these department heads to come and talk to us about what they think?
Sure.
I can put something together
Yeah,
for a future action item.
yeah, I think that'd be good.
Okay.
Okay. Next on the agenda is potential executive session, but I don't think we have anything. So,
Oh, no, number 11. Well,
No,
Mr. Mayor,
number
I
11.
motion we adjourn.
A second.
we do have a motion to adjourn in a second.
No.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right.